All right, good morning. I go down to the coffee club. We have this coffee club here at Wimpyville, and there's a cafe and there's a group of people that meet every morning, and most of them are older people, but there's a mix. Anyway, I always go down there and I ride down on my unicycle. And I stop at the cafe, and there's a group of people sitting out in front. I always say, "Could the Lord have made a nicer day?" you know. And anyway, not too much on my mind today, really. And the one thing on my mind, and it's probably on a lot of people's mind today, is the inauguration. And I probably am not going to watch it. I have a friend here, and she's not particularly interested. She's more interested in going out to Sanibel Island. And, I got to say that I'm not particularly interested in it either. I can always watch, if I want to watch it, I can watch it on YouTube. But anyway, I don't. I look at Donald Trump like I did last night as he was speaking at some event, and I just still can't believe. I can't believe that man is our president. I just can't believe it. I voted for him, but I don't like him. I don't like Donald Trump one bit, and I can only hope that those that he surrounds himself with, do a great job. But as far as Donald Trump, I don't like him at all, and I did vote for him. But anyway, what else is on my mind? I was having dinner last night, and in doing so, I was telling my guest that we were talking about whether or not I like living in Florida, and I said I don't feel any sense of connection here. There's no connection. When I lived in California for some 30 years, there was a very spiritual aspect to living in California for me. It was the diversity of the I don't know whether you call it the diversity of the geography or the whatever you want to call it. But out in California, you've got rolling vineyards, and you've got pastures with different types of animals grazing, horses, cattle, even ostriches. But so you have the pastures, you have the magnificent redwood forest, you've got the large rolling hills, and you have the majestic ocean. And I connected to all of that. I used to for me, when I say connected, it's like connected to God, and I know you can be connected anywhere, but when what I most like is I like to look at the stars. That's the one thing I love. I love to look up to the heavens, and I also like to look at the ocean. I like to look out at the ocean, and the Gulf of Mexico just doesn't do it for me. It's just very flat and boring. That's what I think of the Gulf of Mexico. But anyway, so my guest asked me, where else in the world that I've traveled have I felt connected? And oddly enough, the only other place that I really felt connected was Budapest. And that's probably in part due to my heritage and my grandfather, my dad's father. And I can only wonder if it wasn't his spirit that took me back to Budapest. For those of you that don't know, and very quickly, my father's father joined the Austrian army to fight the Soviets in the early 1900s, and he was captured and he was sent to a Siberian prison camp, and he was there for 3 years. His family gave him up for dead, and he fell in love with a Russian nurse named Olga, and she helped him escape, and he walked for 3 years across Siberia. 3 years he walked across Siberia trying to find his way back to Hungary. And he got back to Hungary, and they were family had moved, so he saved his money and he sailed. He landed in Ellis Island, and he got there, and they looked at his paperwork, and they said, "You can't have this name in America." And he said, "Why not?" And he said, "Well, you're Mr. Hell." And they said, "Well, you know," and I'm taking the liberty of paraphrasing, but so Istvan, that was his name, Istvan. He said, "Well, what would you suggest?" And they said, "Well, why don't we take the E out of hell and put an A there, and we'll call you Hall." And Istvan said, "Sounds good to me." Or he probably said, in Hungarian, he probably said, "Nagyon jó." So my last name really is Tom Hell, not Tom Hall. But anyway, so that was on my mind. What else is on my mind? You know, I picked up my devotional Bible, and I thought to share this one devotion with you. It's called Resolve, and it says, "Most of us are poor listeners. Since our mind moves forward faster than the words to which we are listening, we are frequently preparing something to say when we should be listening." I do that all the time. I'll be listening to somebody and my mind is just racing, you know, and then that happened to me the other day with a neighbor. You know, I was standing with two neighbors, and the neighbor went on and on and on, and then he says, "So what do you think?" I said, "Think about what?" He said, "Think about what I just said." I'm like, "Oh God!" And I had to biff my way through it. But are we aware of our listening biases? Many of us tune out our children or old people. For years, many women have complained that men do not listen to them as carefully as they listen to other men. When we are angry about something, do we carefully listen to an explanation? The world aches for good listeners. Listen to this one. Mercedes will probably tell you this one. Many doctors report that they daily see patients who have nothing physically wrong with them. They merely need someone to listen to them. And that's by William Deal, whoever William Deal is. But anyway, I'm going to do my little if question for the game of life. And I think we're on number 2. If you could determine the age at which you will die, but with no guarantees regarding health or money, how old would you like to be when you go? That's an interesting question. If you could determine the age at which you will die, but with no guarantees regarding health or money, how old would you like to be when you go? I would probably say 85 sounds like a good age, doesn't it? 85. That would be my choice. What would be yours? And with that, I'm going to call it a wrap. I almost didn't do a video today, but you know what? I kind of like doing these, even if those screwy family members of mine give it the thumbs down. But I love them just the same. You know, I love them just the same. Anyway, have a great day. Okay, take care.